Morning. Welcome to the first ever 8 a.m. live stream. There's no sleep because we're in March. We're up early at the crack of dawn. We're going to be in Bridgestone Arena till who knows when, late, covering the SEC basketball tournament. We were there last night. We'll be there today. We'll be talking about it this morning. We'll be previewing the 4 games ahead, recapping a little bit of last night. Max Barr, he's not a bot. I can verify. Might be my house at this very moment. Before we get into basketball, reminder, BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year with up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends. You can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with live in-game betting contests and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or your mobile devices. Head to BetOnline today. Become part of the team. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE. That is BLEAV for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline. The game starts here. Well, gentlemen, the games start in Nashville. Noon Central. Mississippi State, the 9 seed. LSU, the 8 seed. Mississippi State, I'm not saying they're out of the tournament if they lose this one, but I don't think they want to be taking any chances. Big game for the Bulldogs. LSU has been tricky for a lot of teams in this league. Let's get your thoughts on this one. We'll start with Max Barr.
Yeah, Chris, we were just talking about it yesterday. This feels like a potential win and you're in for Mississippi State, but it's still up in the air. There's been a lot of I wouldn't say rumors because it's been the committee that has said it, but there's been some reports of consideration of, okay, we know that this team lost these games, but they didn't have this guy. So just understand the committee's taking that into consideration. Hey, if there's anyone that's got an excuse for a few non-conference losses, they didn't have their first team All-SEC center, Tolu Smith. So all I'm saying is I think that this may very well be a win and in for Mississippi State, but 2 would definitely lock it.
I think they win they're in because I don't, a loss to Tennessee doesn't hurt you. I mean, unless you get beat by like 60 or something, then the committee may say, whoa, hang on a second. But, yeah, I think they win they're in. You just want to try to avoid Dayton. I mean, that's the big thing for Mississippi State. They don't want to go back there again for the second straight year. And so, it's quite a setup. By the way, if you're in the chat right now, we got about 60 of you. What are you having for breakfast? You're rising and shining with Southeastern 14 here. What are you eating? I haven't even eaten yet, Max. Like, we don't have time to eat. We're too busy covering the game. I've been watching the replays, Georgia and Missouri. We'll get to that in a minute. But, this is interesting setup here. Mississippi State, a lot on the line. LSU gets the opportunity to knock them out of the tournament, I think. Because I think if they lose, I just don't know if they're going to get in. They may, but I would not want to put themselves in that position. So, by the way, the breakfast crew chiming in here. Hudson with the best one, I think. Cereal, a very, very good choice here.
Grilled cheese, interesting.
Grilled cheese. Now that's a great one.
That's a good one.
So there you go. Gary's holding off for breakfast until after the show. That's the right answer.
There we go. That's what we were looking for.
He's focused. But anyways, this should be an interesting game. I don't think it'll be 20 points like it was in Baton Rouge, but we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, by the way, reminder, Mississippi State won the first time these two teams played, 87-67 in the Pete Maravich Assembly Center. I would be lying to you if I told you I remember exactly what happened that day after all the games they played. But I just think that, look, LSU's strength is probably not underneath. Mississippi State is. It's Max's favorite bully ball team. Now, look, with LSU, you could always get, a Jordan Wright 30-point game. You could always get a number. Will Baker's had some big games. But I think that Mississippi State's physical nature in this game probably presents a problem for LSU, guys.
This is great. Max is not a fan of the early mornings,
No. So. But listen, This is the best time of the year. All right, so that overrides it. Listen, this first game was interesting because LSU shot 3 of 17 from 3. 3 of 17, and this is one of the teams that we kind of like to call one of the underrated shooting teams in the SEC that can, kind of light it up on any given night. Not the case in the first matchup. Josh Hubbard went 6 of 12 from 3. I'm not going to act like that's out of his ordinary. He's kind of been doing that for the past 5 games now. But if you're telling me LSU is going to shoot 3 of 17 from 3 again, and Mississippi State's going to shoot 48% as a team, I'd say I highly doubt that's going to be the case. So I don't think we're going to get a 20-point wash again. I don't think that'll be the case at all. But I will say I think obviously Mississippi State's the team here that's playing to get into the tournament.
One other concern, free throw shooting from Mississippi State. If it becomes a free throw shooting battle, they are awful from the line, as we have said. I'm still going to ride with physical winning out, having something to play for, winning out. Give me Tolo Smith and LSU.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you as well.
Hold on, Chris. I feel like you did the ultimate hedge there. You said give me Tolu Smith and LSU.
Oh, good grief!
So is that the
hedge?
Are you hedging?
Give me Tolo Smith, unless he's hit the portal and transferred to LSU this morning, and God knows these days anything could happen. I wouldn't rule that out. But assuming he's still wearing a Mississippi State uniform, oh my goodness, we're off to a great
8
start.
8 a.m. live stream, Southeastern 14. You get this for free. You don't even have to pay for this right here. My goodness.
The Southeastern 14 bob and weave. No, I will take Mississippi State.
Give me Matt McMahon and New Orleans.
Oh,
all right, you're up, Max.
Yeah, I'm going Mississippi State too. I also think that an angle to this game is LSU struggles on the defensive boards. I think Tolu, Cam Matthews, just all the guys really. The depth of size that Mississippi State has, I think it'll cause some problems for LSU on the boards as well. I do expect LSU to shoot better. I do not think it's going to be a 20-point wash, but I will go Mississippi State here.
We always say defense tends to travel, and one of these teams is better than the other on the defensive side. And you mentioned how poorly LSU shot it last time. And Mississippi State is, top 25 in that category, or top 10 in that category in three-point defense. So, yeah, I just think it's – and two, for me, like I said, for LSU get to the line, but I don't know. There's a lot on the line for Mississippi State. I think they find a way to win it. So give me the LSU Bulldogs in this game.
He's just going to mock me all day, isn't he?
Yep.
It's okay. I earned it. All right, next up, approximately 2:25 Central, Arkansas. Arkansas did beat Vanderbilt last night. We were in the building for that. Man, what a game that one was. Ezra Manjon darn near willed Vanderbilt to a win by himself, but it was not to be. Arkansas came down from 14 down to beat Vandy in its own town. Now gets South Carolina. The Gamecocks, Lamont Paris, quarter zip, our father. Max Barr, where do we start here?
I can't wait for this game. I cannot wait for this game. I've been looking at it all morning, and why I'm so interested in it is because the last game, these teams have it's night and day from the last time these teams played. Last time they played, it was January 20th. Okay, Battle only plays 5 minutes. That was one of his just head scratching performances where he doesn't get on the court at all. So 5 minutes from Battle, and then no Studi for South Carolina. You had Cooper, Michi Johnson, and BJ Mack combined for 8 threes. The rest of the team only made 1. So it was kind of a weird result, and it's hard to look at what Arkansas did and draw any sort of conclusion from it because their whole identity offensively lately was non-existent in that game back then. What I will say, though, is South Carolina does a lot of things defensively that's going to frustrate how Arkansas has been finding success, especially with the free throw attempts. There's one team that we've been saying all year just stays in front of you, does not get beat off dribble drive penetration, and just is so solid defensively. It's not like they're blocking a million shots or they're stealing a million passes, just being really rock solid defensively. It's South Carolina. So,
You know, we love overtime games, and we loved having a game like that to start the SEC tournament. You know who else loved that overtime game? Father Lamont Paris, because that was the kind of game where Arkansas just laid it all on the line and put everything out there that they had. And now you get South Carolina fresh coming into this game. And I think it's it's the physical style. Like, it's not even just the fact that, like, they played an overtime game. Now they have to play a team that is one of the most physical teams out there. And not to say Vanderbilt wasn't physical, but they're not South Carolina.
right.
And it's just a much different challenge. And so that, I think, is going to be the interesting part of this. How do you see Arkansas come out? I know people say sometimes we make a lot of the tired legs and all this stuff. It's not even about that. Like, it's just about the grind of having to play a team like this who is going to literally grind you every single possession. And I think that's where last time you just saw that game became exactly the way South Carolina wanted to. I know it was a couple missing pieces on each side in terms of one out, one didn't play as much as he is now. But that's going to be the challenge for Arkansas, is can they match the intensity of South Carolina? Because even if you say, well, South Carolina is, that's just been sitting, right? They're going to come out because, again, I still think there's a chip on their shoulder. Like, they didn't get the double bye. There are people, as we said, going into this tournament saying Arkansas is about to make a run, and here we are, 25-win teams just sitting there waiting on them. So, that's one of the interesting dynamics, I think. So,
yeah, guys, when I was watching Arkansas last night, I was just sitting there thinking it feels like it's the same 5 guys out here, or 6 guys for most of the night. And let me give you the minutes. Trevon Brazile, 42 minutes. Khalif Battle, 40. Tramon Mark, 38. Mekhi Mitchell, 33. Devontae Davis, 32. Other than that, LLS, 22 minutes. Chandler Lawson, 11. And Davenport gave him 5. I didn't even realize he was in the game.
This is what Muss does in March. Every year.
It
goes
does,
to 6
but
guys, basically. I mean,
I don't know how much that lends you to winning a game in this spot against a South Carolina team that's got some beef, and Josh Gray, BJ Mack, Colin Murray-Boyles, Benjamin Bosins-Verdonk, if you want to pull him out of shrink wrap and put him out there. I don't know. I mean, I was watching Arkansas's guards shoot last night, and at times it was just awful. And especially their shot selection the first half was not ideal. I think that the recipe is going to have to be Mitchell and guys like Mark taking it to the rack and hoping to get some success. But this is a gritty, hard-nosed South Carolina team. They will not give you easy shots from the perimeter. Not that Arkansas is going to sit out there and bomb you for 15 to 25 from 3 anyway. It just feels like a bad matchup spot for Arkansas here. South Carolina has been just so steady. Give me the Gamecocks.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you again, Chris. Once again, I don't think it's going to be that blowout it was in the last game, because there's been a lot that has changed since then. But I mean, we've talked a few times about how Tramon Mark has kind of been playing through injury down the stretch here. Brazile's been playing through injury. And now they're coming off an overtime game where they got to turn around quick and play a midday game against what we just said, and obviously one of the most physical teams in the conference. I'm not saying it's a tired legs thing. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying bad matchup against one of the more physical teams that's not going to allow you to get to the free throw line as much as you'd like. So that's why I'm going South Carolina.
well, by the way, Sam, you better watch it in the chat here.
Sam is coach baiting us all.
We'll get to Sam in a minute.
We'll deal with you in a minute, Sam.
We got 200 people in here, 8 a.m. You guys
This is great.
It just means more to you guys. That's the way I see it. So, yeah, I mean, I'm always hesitant here because it's like you're picking against Muss in March, and they found a way to win that game last night when you thought they were almost out of it. And I'm just like, oh boy, here they are again. The Must Bus back on the road. They seem pretty gassed up. But that's my theme here, that they may be a little gassed heading into this game against the South Carolina Gamecocks. We saw Lamont Paris yesterday. He walked by us, the quarter zip. The man looked ready. He looked ready to deliver punishment to all that crossed the South Carolina Gamecocks in this SEC tournament. And I think it's just, I go back to what I said. I think it's the style. I just think it's, if you're Arkansas, you'd much rather play, I don't know. I mean, there's not a lot of teams. Again, Arkansas was necessarily that successful against this season, but I think you'd rather play someone, well, here, I mean, let's point this out, right? Look at, and I know this Auburn game was forever ago, but think about the style that Auburn plays. Think about the style that South Carolina plays. Think about the style that Tennessee plays, Mississippi State, teams like that. Those are all teams that Arkansas had their struggles against and got blown out in some of those games, right? And so I do think Arkansas can make a run here, but I've got to go South Carolina. I can't pick against Father Lamont Paris. I know we just gave him the Southeastern 14 kiss of death, but listen, it's just you go with the matchups here, and I think it's a better matchup for South Carolina.
All right, at 6 Central, we get Texas A&M and Ole Miss. Just played this one in Oxford, 86-60 in A&M's favor. A&M's got a lot to play for. Ole Miss would have to probably run the table to get into the NCAA tournament in this event. New contract for Chris Beard. Sounds like they're trying to lock him up in Oxford for a while, which is a good move. I think I'll start here. Was that just Ole Miss's final mailing it in for the season, or is this a team gets some new life in Nashville, let's see what they can do situation?
I think it's okay. So originally, I thought it was this is just a bad matchup for this Ole Miss team. Just a bad matchup with the rebounding and stuff that they struggle with. That's what Texas A&M prides themselves on. But then you look a little bit further into it. I mean, Texas A&M shot 50% from three. They're 13 of 26. I mean, that's like a normal team making 38 threes in a game for how Texas A&M has shot all year. And I'm not saying that all of them were super contested or whatnot, but still, Texas A&M making 13 threes is a lot for them. But it is part of it is the matchup. They're just going to crush. I don't want to get back into it again, but the rebounding battle was bad. But listen to this, guys. Listen to this. And I showed it to Blake yesterday, and it's kind of changing my mind a little bit. So VSIN, VSIN, Vegas Sports Information, they give the betting splits on the games. Okay. There's 96% of the bets and 94% of the handle on Texas A&M. That is the largest public bet of the entire day out of every single game on the whole entire slate. The largest public bet of the whole day is Texas A&M -4. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything more than that. Just buyer beware out there that I know it looks like, oh my gosh, Texas A&M just won by 30 like a few days ago, and now they're only a 2-possession favorite. Yeah, that's what the whole world thinks as well. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah, this game would terrify me if I'm a Texas A&M fan, because I'm just like, your players go in thinking we just beat this team 5 days ago by 26 points. Come on, we'll walk out, we'll kind of sleepwalk through 40 minutes, and we'll get the win, and we'll move on to play the Cats. Right? We're ready for Kentucky. We want that team that we beat in overtime in our building. That's who we're ready for. Oh, it just doesn't work out that way. In tournament settings, I would be very surprised if this is not a close game. I think that you remember back the first time these two teams played, like Ole Miss found a way to win that game in College Station, tale of 2 games. A&M went 6 of 20 from 3. And by the way, 13 was their second highest 3-point output of the season. I think they've only hit double-digit 3-pointers in like 5 or 6 games this season. So compare that to everybody else we talk about in the SEC. There's a lot of other teams who, have done that double-digit times. And so, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen again. If A&M hits 13 threes on a neutral court, I'm taking them to the Final Four because, I don't think that's going to happen. And so it really is just a matter of what is Ole Miss here for? Like, what are they here to do? Because they are, again, much further off the bubble now than Texas A&M is. A&M is in a position where there is no other choice. They have to win. If they don't win, they're out. I think it's very simple. And so because that's the setup, Buzz is usually pretty good at getting his guys. Like we said, look at the history. The last 3 games have all been must-win for Texas A&M. They've won all of them. And this one, though, I think is going to be maybe the hardest of the bunch just because you got to get your guys back up, ready to go against the team you just played. And it's easy just to go out and say, all right, here's how we're going to be successful. We're going to go out and hit 13 threes. Well, that's not going to happen. They're going to have to win a completely different way in this game. And that's what I think is interesting going into it.
All right, gentlemen. I'm in the hallway at Bridgestone last night. Chris Beard walks right by me. Buddy, he looked like he meant business. What does that mean?
Nothing.
I have no idea. Probably very little. His team has lost 8 of its last 10 games since January the 30th. Both those wins were over Missouri. One by 3 points, one by 6 points. Boy, we saw Missouri up close last night, and it was everything you hoped it would not be.
Hey, hang on a second. We're not to the Missouri game. You watch your mouth, okay? We're picking Texas A&M and Ole Miss.
What are you going to do about it, buddy?
Get out of here.
Give me the Aggies.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is where I'm going to deviate from the
Max.
Listen.
Max.
Listen, just hear me out. This may be the last time I get to pick Ole Miss this year.
That's true.
I'm going to make sure I stick to my roots where I've been all year. I was high on this team back in June. They made me look like a wizard up until about January. Sticking with you guys one last time. Fade the public, okay? 96% of the money on Texas A&M. Come on.
Oh, Sam. My goodness. Sam, we need to have more of these 8 a.m. live streams. Sam has just been on a roll here.
This morning.
It's probably Eastern time, though, for you, isn't it, Sam?
He's got stuff on his mind.
My goodness. This is just incredible.
Long story short, give me the Rebels.
Okay. Well, you guys know what I think about A&M. I don't trust them. I just think that it's really hard to trust a team that shoots it as poorly as they do. And they are, again, I'd be stunned if they are. Remember, here's something I pointed out to someone. I said, they made 13 threes. They shot 50% against Ole Miss. And they're still the 360th team in the country in three-point percentage. By shooting 50%, it raised them up to 27.8% instead of like 27.6% or whatever for the season. And so that's how poor they've been from 3. But remember, they've also been poor everywhere else. They're shooting 47% from 2, which is almost in the 300s nationally. 70% from free throw line, which is 260th or something like that. But my goodness, this team doesn't care because they just go out and get every rebound in their path. That's what worries me about Ole Miss in this game. It's not the fact that I don't think A&M is going to shoot it as well. It's the fact that is Ole Miss going to do what they have to do to rebound the ball against the bully ball team, number 2 here, other than South Carolina. I don't trust it. And so Chris pointed out Ole Miss has beaten Missouri since January the 30th, and that is it. And so I'm sticking with the Aggies on this one.
All right, gentlemen, we are in the music capital of the world. The last line on your bracket tonight, Florida, Georgia.
I see what you did there.
Oh, my
Bulldogs, guys. Stole that
Real
one
clever.
from you, buddy. I don't even like
did.
them. But
real clever.
Anyway, Georgia pulled one out late out of the fire, was down, 7 points with 3 minutes left, Max? What did we figure there?
Yeah, it was 59-52 at the 3:39 mark. And it ended 59-64. So.
Yeah. Feel like we need to queue up a Larry Munson call from that one. But anyway, hey, I'll cut to the chase. I do not think that Georgia has got the firepower to hang with Florida. And I don't know what else needs to be said here, especially after Georgia played a game last night that took a lot of energy late.
Well, and while I would, at the surface, think the same thing, when you look at the two games that these teams played this year, we got double Oreo going on right now. You look at the games he's played, a 6-point game and an overtime game. That's two of the, I mean, you got a pretty good sample size there. And that's a January 27th game and a February 17th game. It's not like they are that far off. So in the two games that they played, Georgia has somehow been able to make it close. Please.
Brad,
Yeah, of course,
Big Baller Brad,
Brad
he's all in on the
Yeah.
Georgia win here because he doesn't want Alabama seeing Florida. I know it.
Yeah, high-scoring game, though. Ken Palm has this 81-75. I wouldn't be shocked if we get someone into the 90s here, based on the way that Georgia was playing defense last night. Yeah, I think it's going to be up and down, just like Brett said.
All right, before I give you my thoughts on this game, let's do a state of address here, State of the Union, the Missouri Tigers. Because I've seen Sam's comments, I've seen everybody out there throwing their comments around. Sam asking, since I'm the agent, what does the bonus structure look like for an 0-19 season? You're all really funny, all right? You're all real comical. But let me just tell you right now, okay? The Southeastern 14 Kiss of Death put this on Missouri. If these two guys would have picked Georgia like they were supposed to, this wouldn't have happened. If these two guys wouldn't have made everybody needs a blue Cain a thing, this wouldn't have happened either. Blame these two other guys you see on your screen here. They're the reason that this became a phenomenon that it was. Missouri finishes the unluckiest team in America, 362 out of 362 teams. They had open shots that bounced off the rim. They had 3 layups that bounced off the rim. And yet, this sets up what I think is going to be the greatest comeback tour you've seen since the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, whoever else out there that's had comeback tours throughout their careers. The Dennis Gates comeback tour is on, and it starts next season. But let's talk about this game, because I think, like Max said, Georgia's going to make this interesting, because we just saw Florida lose a game to Vanderbilt. And I know Vanderbilt's playing better. We've seen that. But I don't know. Like, this just, again, one of these teams, whether it's Arkansas or Georgia, is going to find a way to make this interesting today. And, again, the best bet's going to be on Arkansas probably for most people, just because, you know, they have probably played better over the past several weeks. But I don't know. These were two games that were close the last time around. I mean, Georgia found a way to take it to overtime, and that one where it looked like they were out of it. The game in Athens, we knew would be difficult, and, you know, it kind of was. I mean, it was a close game pretty much the entire way. Georgia got off to a good start. And so I am intrigued by this game. Chris, you're picking Florida, right? Max, I assume you're also picking Florida, although you haven't made your pick official yet.
Yeah, I'll be picking Florida. I picked these. I preemptively picked these guys Final Four before they lost to Vandy, so I need them to you know, return to form here and make me look good again. So yeah, I'll be picking Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, I probably undersold Georgia based on the results. I'm still going to take Florida. I think having a late night game that extracted a lot of energy. The advantage was going to be tilted Florida anyway, but that's probably not going to help.
Well, listen, Big Baller Brett, he wants it. He needs it. He needs the Georgia victory here. So therefore, what am I going to do? I'm going to pick the Florida Gators, because
nice.
Listen, the Southeastern 14 Kiss of Death, everyone, 1-0 in the SEC tournament so far. We all picked Missouri. Georgia won. Not all of us picked Arkansas, because, boy, we had someone that kept turning around to me and Max down there on press row, just giving us an eye and sort of a nod every time Vanderbilt would take the lead against Arkansas, as though I told you guys that Vanderbilt was going to win this game. Well. Turns out that was not the case. So, Southeastern 14 kiss of death, 1-0. Couple teams on watch today. Mississippi State. Did we all pick South Carolina? Oh, yeah.
I think they're all
We
on
picked South
watch
Carolina.
today, aren't they?
No, we split with A&M Ole Miss. Max picked Ole Miss.
Okay, that's right.
But every other game, what happens if the Southeastern 14 kiss of death goes 4-0 after today? We'll see.
I'll tell you what, we have 4 single-digit spreads.
Yeah.
I guarantee you one of those underdogs wins outright. Guarantee it.
My favorite part of last night, Blake, or Max, our man Blake left the building long before that Missouri. He knew what was coming. He couldn't stand to watch it.
I couldn't do it. So
It
I knew what
made
was going to
me
happen. I
sit
couldn't do
there
it.
in pain.
I couldn't sit there in pain. I also couldn't sit there in the 25-degree weather inside of Bridgestone Arena. I told Max, I said, Max, you better bring a parka because they
It is
turn. And
cold in
today
there.
it's going to be even hotter. So they're going to have the air
Unreal.
conditioning turn. It's going to be 32 in there. Like, you're going to be able to freeze whatever you want in there. You can freeze water. Like, your water's going to be sitting on the table and it's going to freeze on the spot. So
I was like having trouble typing because my fingers were so cold. I'm not joking. It was freezing for the last game.
somebody bring a heater. I'll tell you who's going to bring a heater. All the teams we picked to win. Father Lamont Paris going to bring a heater in there. His squad. There you go.
All right.
250 people for a morning live stream on SEC basketball.
Listen,
We're going to do it each morning.
it just means more. Every morning this week, the SEC tournament, you're going to get us
Yep.
and your breakfast. What else could you want?
In
Eating
your breakfast?
watching us. Don't eat us. Yeah. Well, we got we're going to do about 3 or 4 minutes of super chats here or quick comments. If you guys have any questions, comments, whatever, send them on in. We always enjoy the interactions here. So, yeah, if you have any quick questions, any quick comments on the games today, tomorrow, what you're looking ahead to, anything like that, hop on in. We can get this one real quick from Blake. Go ahead, Chris, before we do it.
There is one pertinent topic coming out of last night we didn't discuss, and that's Jerry Stackhouse's future. I was in that press conference. That had the feel of a guy who thought it might be over. Now, look, it is Vanderbilt. Anything is on the table. I have not heard with any certainty that they are parting ways with him. So just one thing to watch this morning. It felt like that was a very carefully orchestrated press conference, either to rehab his image as he tries to get another job, probably in the NBA, or to soften the ground for his return to Vanderbilt. It felt very orchestrated being in that room.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's quickly run through these real quick, Chris. So we're not going to get into the full bracketology, but as of right now, Tennessee, number 1 seed? I think so.
In the NCAAs? Been doing a little math on that, and I think so right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. What about South Carolina? Where are they sitting at right now? Probably 6-ish, something like that?
I think we had them as the last 5, Max. We were doing
We had
this
them as
the
the
other day.
last 5.
Last 5.
Yeah, we've been working on it, but we haven't gotten to the finish line with it yet. But we did get that far, and I think we had Carolina's 20 on the S curve. I'll pull that up and see if I'm wrong. But next one.
Okay. Sam continues his campaign for a new coach. But we know what's going on.
Would you like a Southeastern 14 fun fact? I believe that Jerry Stackhouse and Kenny Payne were NBA roommates.
Kind of like you and Max, huh? Wow. Who knew that you two are the Jerry Stackhouse and Kenny Payne of Southeastern 14, the 2 roommates over there, Chris and Max. Hudson, bringing back the old question: does the Must Bus have 0 bars and chord notes? You guys don't get that if you weren't around from like the original days of Southeastern 14, like 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, that's what it took. Like, they needed to get their snacks on the bus. Everybody was well fed and ready for the road ahead. This year, I don't know. Maybe they ran out. I'm not sure. So, we'll see.
Here's a good one. Guys, what do you think Lamont Paris's record against the kiss of death is this year? Because it's got to be near undefeated.
Well, here's
14
the
and
thing.
0.
I started picking them more than you guys did. So, like, I think we got away from it pretty quick. But we still – there were still a couple
He's
of times.
been solid, though, against it.
Yeah. So, Brett campaigning for Bruce Pearl to get the Louisville job. There's a surprise. Who do we like in the SEC tournament going forward? Look, I'll just give you our picks here. Max and I both picked Kentucky to win it. Chris picked Tennessee to win it. But once the tournament starts, those picks are off the board until we like just go game by game and make our picks depending on how things unfold. Nate Oates to Kentucky, I don't see that, but maybe others could see it. I'm not sure.
I saw him mentioned in the Louisville search.
I could see that, but they would have
to.
It
wasn't like he's going. It was just like a potential candidate list, and he was on it.
I just don't see it.
I don't either. I don't
either.
either.
Got a better job. Sorry.
By the way, I pulled up the bracketology Max and I've been working on. Here's where teams are on the S curve. I got Tennessee as a 4. That would be the last number 1 seed. Alabama's a 12. That'd be the last 3. Kentucky's a 14. That'd be a 4. Auburn is a 16. That'd be the last 4. And they're going to be interesting how to deal with that resume. And Carolina at the 20, which would be the last 5. Florida also, we had Florida as a 7.
And I know it's kind of like stringing a few things together, but South Carolina, I mean, man, you do not want to play a 12 because I think right now, looking at the 12s from Bracketology, like I think Lenardi's got James Madison as a 12.
Grand Canyon, Richmond,
dude,
South
there's some
Florida,
good 12 right now.
Man, no thanks. That's a good group of 12s.
Yeah, so these teams that are around flirting with the 5 seed, they know what.
Well, hey, listen, look at the 13s. Charleston, Samford, McNeese.
Samford's decent.
I wouldn't want to be a 4 or a 5 right now looking at that 12-13 line.
Speed.
Wow.
Yeah, I kind of had a list of like teams that could win the conference tournament, you know, and be the 13s and that you wouldn't want to see. Feels like all those teams are winning the tournaments, and you just named most of them.
Here you go. All right. I know Blake said he's buying a super chat, so we're not going to end just yet. We're going to wait for him to get the super chat, and then we got a couple other things we'll get to quickly, and then we're hopping off. But here's a question for you. What are the chances that somebody, the number 13 seeds on Lenardi's bracket right now, Charleston, Samford, McNeese, UC Irvine, which I've talked to, I was campaigning for Russell Turner to be Vanderbilt's coach at one point. What are the chances that one of the 13 seeds, Pat Kelsey at Charleston, Bucky McMillan at Samford, Will Wade at McNeese, one of those guys is coaching the SEC next year?
It's higher than whatever you think it is.
Interesting thought.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So
I would still take no, but it could happen. How many vacancies are there going to be? One at most?
But if there are vacancies, I'm telling you right now, there are multiple of those guys that are going to be on a short list for somebody. So multiple.
Well, there's only somebody in the discussion right now, unless you get an out of the box thing like Nate Oates leaving. Oh well, no, wait. I am forgetting one.
So.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think so.
I'd
put some interesting odds on there. All right, Blake. Unless you're sending the super chat, we're about to wrap up. We do appreciate you. Sometimes the super chat's a little wonky, but all right. Let's see. Is there anything else?
There we go. We got it.
Hudson. Oh, did you get it? Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Hey, they're the number 1 seed. I mean, they won the SEC. They could win the whole thing. I mean, we said it. There's a reason Dawn connects the difference this year. So,
yeah, when you look at all those, I love to do it because I don't know, I'm a psycho with it, but I love to look at every possible like analytical trend for like top of this and top of that for the past how many years has been the winner, whatnot. And Tennessee fits almost every trend. They still have that top 5 defense, but they took their offense from 64th last year, now 24th. That's that difference. That's the jump. That's the difference between being able to make a run and not being able to make a run.
Yeah. All right, guys. So here's what we're gonna do on the way out here. I know you guys had some other questions, but we gotta get to running on getting all our stuff done so we can get to the arena to give you guys the best coverage in the world for the SEC tournament. So what we're gonna do, remember, I'm putting this in the comments right now. We have a Substack. You can check that out. You're gonna be able to find like our written stuff there. Max can do some betting stuff for each of these game days, the rest of the way in the SEC tournament and throughout the NCAA tournament. Copy and paste that into whatever browser you want to use and throw your email in there. That would really help us out. And also, if you are on the old Twitter, Max and I are going to be doing some stuff on Twitter because the internet is not the greatest. And so, therefore, we're not going to be able to do like our video stuff like we want to, but Max and I are going to basically put our stuff on Twitter this week, do like some clips for you guys and everything. So be sure to follow us on the Southeastern 14 Twitter. That way you can find everything there. And, of course, if you want to follow our individual accounts, you can see those on the screen. But Max and I are going to try to do some of that, kind of reacting to games and stuff today and the rest of the way in the SEC tournament. So
you guys should have seen Blake and I trying to upload pictures and videos yesterday. Just
it's going to be worse. There's going to be more people now the rest of the way. It's going to be even worse. So
I don't know. That gym was pretty full last night.
It was.
Well, get a lot more full than it was. That was
one of the best.
That was
Wednesday
astonishing.
Night.
Yeah.
Maybe the best ever.
It just means more.
Just means more. All right, guys, 300 people in here watching us at 8 a.m. You guys, you love it. You love it. So, yeah.
All righty.
All right, gentlemen. We are up to pack our bags and head to the arena. If you're there and see us, say hello. Cannot wait for more basketball today. Should be a good day. But the quarterfinals tomorrow, my goodness, that has a chance to be epic. We'll be there for all of it. Hope you guys are here for us. Best way to make sure you are, hit the subscribe button, enable your notifications so they know when we post content. It's there. For Max Barr and Blake Lovell, I'm Chris Lee. We're Southeastern 14, presented by Bet Online.